أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. سبح اسم ربك الأعلى. خلق فسوى والذي قدر فهدى والذي أخرج المرعى فجعله غثاء أحوى سنقرئك فلا تنسى إلا ما شاء الله إنه يعلم الجهر وما يخفى ونيسرك لليسرى فذكر إن نفعت الذكرى سيذكر من يخشى ويتجنبها الأشقى الذي يصلى النار الكبرى ثم لا يموت فيها ولا يحيا قد أفلح من تزكى وذكر اسم ربه فصلى بل تؤثرون الحياة الدنيا والآخرة خير وأبقى إن هذا لفي الصحف الأولى صحف إبراهيم وموسى صدق الله العلي العظيم. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى محمد. Dear brothers and sisters, welcome to the Rise Academy Open House Session 2. I would like to invite all of you guys for this session. Alhamdulillah, we had a very successful session previously, and so inshallah we're going to have a follow-up session today. And I'm going to go ahead and pass over the microphone to Sister Zainab, inshallah.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. I'd like to welcome everybody to today's information session. Inshallah, today we're going to be covering a lot of information like curriculum, schedule, the day in the life of a RISE student, etc. So today on our agenda, we have welcome and introductions, the RISE online overview, the rise of RISE, curriculum, a day in the life of a RISE student, and our admissions process. In today's information session, we have a team of panelists who will be discussing this information with Moulana Nabi Raza Abidi, the Sabah Islamic Center resident alim, Brother Noman Zaidi, who will be the RISE online school principal, Sister Tina Haralambopoulos, who is an educational leader and licensed teacher, and myself, Sister Zainab Mitani, a high school English teacher, and I'll also be emceeing today's program. So before I move into the next slide, I want to introduce our first panelist, Moulana Nabi Raza Abidi, who is the resident alim of Sabah from 2002 and is the founder of Al-Qissa Foundation and RISE Academy and RISE Online. He has dedicated his life to education, and we are honored and blessed to have him in his guidance.
Salāmun alaykum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Wal asr innal insana lafi khusr illa alladhina amanu wa amilus salihat wa tawasaw bil haqqi wa tawasaw bis sabr. Ilahi antiqni bil huda wal himna taqwa bi rahmatika arhamar rahimin. قال الله سبحانه وتبارك وتعالى في كتابه الكريم اقرأ باسم ربك الذي خلق. Brothers and sisters, once again, I would like to welcome all of you for this session number 2. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless us in this great month of Dhul Qa'datul Haram as we are facing a pandemic situation. And I'm sure that inshallah you are with your family members. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless your families, your children, and give us strength and tawfiq to perform our duties and responsibilities. It's our honor to announce lots of great progress so far what happened, inshallah, in today's session, with the hope that, inshallah, we'll be able to answer some of your questions. And also, we want to get more feedback from you, and it's going to be a collaborative effort. It's not going to be one-way street. we are looking for more collaboration from all of you. So all of this effort is happening because we believe that you are partner, and together we can achieve a lots of great goals, inshallah. As all of us, we know the first point is about education and knowledge. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala begins the wahi and revelation with Iqra bismi rabbika alladhi khalaq. That itself gives us great understanding from Islam, Quran, and mankind. And when it comes to the knowledge and ilm, we are not talking about from one specific area. As I quoted hadith, narration from our sixth Imam, all the way this hadith goes to Noble Prophet of Islam, and Noble Prophet of Islam, he gave us a very good idea about the knowledge. Knowledge is not something people they can seek in one area. This is a game changer, and we need to focus on from holistic approach to have a better understanding. That's where Rise Online committed to, and Rise Education System and Rise Academy. We are committed to bring this holistic approach in our curriculum, and also in our teaching strategies from all the angles, and also want to make sure that we are communicating properly to all the people. Next slide, please. Yes, just I want to give you a little bit of background what happened from last session. Alhamdulillah, as we introduced last time also, we have a structure board, and alhamdulillah we got the great board of Rise Education System. And then we have advisory council. Advisory council, I'm going to talk and discuss 3 people, inshallah. And we have a principal, and we have an admin, and teachers. We are going to, inshallah, announce about teacher soon. When it comes to the advisory council, we have 3 people, those who are going to oversee this whole school system. As you can see in next slide, we have 3 great people. One is Brother Hijazi, Sami Hijazi, who has an incredible background of education in different schools, and also is a great asset for all of us, especially in the education world. And also Dr. Nuh Kasrai, he's a current head of the school and principal of Rise, the academy, and also Rise Education System. And he's going to be a part of the council, advisory council, and myself. And then we have a great team, mashallah. That team is principal. When it comes to the principal is a main component of every school to assist and to see the outcome of the school. We had a lengthy discussions how to go and how to move on about this. Alhamdulillah, with the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and also with the great commitment from Brother Nouman Zaidi, we're pleased to announce that Brother Nouman Zaidi will be principal. Just give me a few, I want to give you a little bit of background about Brother Nouman Zaidi, so all of us, we can be on the same page. Brother Nouman Zaidi, who believes in education system, and his life is revolving about education, and who has a passion, and who believes in holistic approach of development of the child. And he was teacher, whether math, algebra, or so on and so forth. Then he was mentoring, he was part of the admin of the school, vice principal, and right now he's serving as a principal in public school. As inshallah, Sister Zainab will going to read some of the points about him and also his biodata. It will be very clear for us that we have a great person for the principal who can lead this effort and who can be with Rise Online families for this coming year. And then we have a great team of admin, including Sister Sabika Methani as a mission director, whose life also devoted and dedicated in education, and who has a master degree in the Hausavi study. And also she is a backbone of Kisa Kids and Kisa subsidiaries. Then we have a Sister Tina, and she is an incredible addition to this team. It's my honor to announce. And also Sister Sarah Hussain as an operation manager. So these are the key admin team we have. And also we have a consultant, two great sisters. One is Sister Zainab Methani and Sister Heba. So this team we recruited, and right now it's ready. So this is a great progress from what we announced last time till now. And in today's session, inshallah, we're going to learn more about the curriculum, little bit about the admission, and also back and LMS and so on and so forth. So please make sure that this effort is not one way. We want to have a partnership, and we believe that partners are the parents, and we together can achieve lots of great goals for our children. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless us, inshāʻAllāh. I would like to ask Sister Zainab to introduce Brother Noman Zaidi.
Okay, so just as a reminder, the first half of the presentation is going to be the panelist discussion, and the second half will be questions and answers from the audience. So if you have questions along the way, just go to tinyurl.com/riseqa, and you can enter your questions there, and then we can address them in the second half. So I am really honored to present our next presenter, Brother Noman Zaidi, who we are very blessed to have as the Rise Online principal. So a little background about him. Mr. Zaidi is currently a public school principal at Emily Richin Elementary in Oxnard, California, and he has been a public school administrator for the past 13 years. Mr. Zaidi began his educational career as a teacher in LAUSD, teaching pre-algebra and algebra, and taught math and science in the Coachella Valley Unified School District prior to promoting to an administrator position. In his administrative positions, Mr. Zaidi has mentored teachers, implemented anti-bullying programs, serving as testing coordinator, provided curriculum development and improvement, increased parent involvement, provided technology support, and worked on closing the achievement gap, to name some of his competencies and experience. Mr. Zaidi earned his Bachelor's of Science from the University of California, Riverside, and his Master of Arts in Education with an administrative credential from Cal State San Bernardino. He also holds a teaching credential in mathematics from UCLA. So inshallah, Brother Noman, we'd love to have you present the Rise of Rise.
Okay, Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Let me start off by thanking the families, and hopefully there's some students as well, community members, family members. Thank you for taking your time out of your Sunday morning/afternoon, depending on which time zone you're in. We appreciate you guys doing that. Hopefully you guys had a wonderful 4th of July, right? So a lot of fireworks. Hopefully you were safely able to see some fireworks if they were happening in your town. Just a little bit about myself. Last night my kids, we live in Southern California, Simi Valley, California. And if you know anything about Simi Valley, it is known for the Ronald Reagan Library, essentially. Mashallah. And so we have a bubble of Republicans that inhabit our street, basically. And so last night, even though Southern Californians, we couldn't do fireworks, they were out and about doing their fireworks, alhamdulillah. So my kids were out there and they were able to see some fireworks. So hopefully you guys were able to enjoy something similar and safely. And today we appreciate you guys being here. There's a lot going on. So, you're taking out the time out of your day to join us is fabulous. So that being said, let me move on to the next slide. A little bit of background before we jump into the nuts and bolts. As we all know, we had the first session and obviously went over the mission and the vision and that kind of stuff. So our focus today is to just give you a little bit of background on our journey and then to jump into the nuts and bolts of the school and everyday stuff. So essentially we started in May. Because of this COVID situation, we had an urgent need to create an online school that was credible and accredited and that kind of stuff. So we sent out an interest survey and we got about 300 responses back. That was in early May. And then in June, the website was launched, mashallah. And then we actually had that open house. And if you're curious about the vision and all that kind of good stuff, you can go back to that. It's still up and live, and you can still view that the open house that was done. And then we started the enrollment process and started the admission process. And alhamdulillah, we have over 40 families that have already admitted or have registered to be part of our school. So we're moving along that path. And then in July, we just started, right? We started the assessment process. And then on Monday, we're actually doing family meetings. And I'm going to get into that a little bit later. And then we obviously are doing the curriculum sessions today. So let's go ahead and move forward. That's a little bit of timeline. So today, our goal is to address your questions, right? We've gotten some feedback from you guys. We've gotten some emails and questions from you guys, some surveys. And essentially, you guys want to know about the curriculum. You want to know about the platform. And you want to know about the schedule, right? Those are the big categories. So while we're doing this presentation, before I pass it over to our experts, our teachers, and let them kind of run the show, what I want you guys to do as parents, because as Moulana mentioned, this is a collaborative effort. The strength of this project will depend a lot on parents and students as well, of course, along with us. We're not here to put on a show for you guys. We want to present to you what's actually going to happen every day, objectively speaking, so that you can make an informed decision on whether or not what we're doing is working. And even though we have the expertise in the background to pull this off, we have the humility to know that if something's not working, we need to know. And we will adjust it and adapt it to meet the needs of our students. So please feel free to text us your questions, give us feedback. Just know that we're not here for anything else except to meet the needs of your students. So that being said, you have a classwork. I'm going to give you all of you guys some classwork. So snap a picture of this and or write it down real quick. It's going to be interactive. As we are presenting, if you're a parent or if you're an administrator like myself and you're watching a school and you're observing a school, this is what we look for, especially an online program. We look for whether or not you're accredited, right? If you have proven results or not. Even though we're a first-year school, we want you to look at us with that lens, right? Tell us if whether or not what we're presenting to you looks like it's actually been proven and tested, because we believe it has, and we're going to show that to you. And then obviously another critical point is whether or not what we're doing is going to be rigorous and engaging, right? So those are two powerful words, and online instruction, it's a very challenging thing to do from our teachers' perspective. And we believe that we're going to have a group of teachers that are going to be able to pull that off. But we want you guys to tell us whether or not we're doing that. So that's going to be part of our presentation as well. And then we're going to have a comprehensive and flexible program. And what I mean by that is we're going to have a wide range of electives that we're going to offer for high school, middle school, of course. And then we're going to be flexible enough. So we're going to have breakout groups throughout our instruction. That's going to allow us to differentiate the instruction to meet the needs of our students from where they're at. The teachers are going to get into that. So make sure you look for that. And then we obviously want to create a user-friendly platform. So inshallah, hopefully when you're viewing our platform, we're going to show that to you. Tell us if you think it's friendly or not, whether it's something that your students and yourself will be able to do so. And then we're going to go over to the schedule as well. That's key. I know that's a lot of questions have been around the schedule. And then you're going to actually meet one of our teachers, alhamdulillah, Sister Tina. She's going to do a lot of our presentation. So, and the last piece is, like Sister Zainab mentioned, there's plenty of time for your questions, and that's why we're here, right? This is a collaborative effort. There's going to be about an hour where you guys can ask as many questions as you need. And if that's not enough, we're going to schedule another session with you guys individually as a family. And if you need all of us there, we're going to make that happen, because we want to able to answer your questions so that you're not left in the dark about what we're doing. Let's go ahead and move forward. A little bit of background on our purpose, and then I'll pass it over to our fabulous team. Obviously, we are building on building. We're trying to build a global community here. And essentially what that means is right now we're focused on just the United States in general. We have 15 states from in terms of students from different states. And what you're going to see is eventually, once we get this rolling, there's going to be a network of students that are communicating with each other. If you've been part of online classes before, you'll see there's like a chat session. And if the teachers allow it, the students can communicate, and they will network and they will get to know each other internationally and as well as obviously in the United States. Eventually, we're going to open it up to the world. Right now, we're just focusing on the United States, but that's coming. And the other thing I'm going to mention is for the parents. So we're going to expect you guys to be an active participant of this process. And we're going to do parent workshops as well. And that's going to be an opportunity where you guys can actually have breakout sessions where parents can communicate with each other. And I'll facilitate that along with our teachers and our admin team. And it's going to be a powerful a group of parents that are going to be part of our process. So we look forward to that. The other two things on the slide, it kind of speaks for themselves, right? The pandemic has created this urgency. So we're obviously trying to address that. And then for those of us that are too far away physically from Islamic schools, this is going to be a guaranteed and viable option. But remember your classwork. If this is not guaranteed and viable, we want you guys to tell us that, and we're going to adapt to make sure we fulfill that expectation. Let's go ahead and move forward. All right, so here it comes, right? This is the big piece. This is what we've been spending a lot of our time on. Sister Zainab, mashallah, she's obviously the MC right now, but just a little bit of background on her. She's currently a high school teacher, right? She has a full-time job. She's an English teacher in Southern California. She teaches at San Marino High School. She's also taught at the City of Knowledge for 4 years, I believe, before teaching at their current high school. City of Knowledge at an Islamic school in Southern California as well, very credible. So she has an extensive background, especially when it comes to English. So right now what we're doing with Sister Zainab is she's taking a deep dive into the English curriculum, which is a lot of work. So she's going through it. She's trying to filter the content and make it relevant and appropriate for our students, especially in an Islamic setting. So without further ado, let me pass it back to Sister Zainab, and Sister Zainab's going to go over the curriculum, inshallah.
So I know there has been many questions about the curriculum. So I'm excited to finally be able to shed some more light and information on what curriculum we will be having at Rise Online. So I'm happy to announce that we are going to be using Accelerate Education. So Accelerate Education is an all-inclusive K through 12 platform that encompasses core content. So it'll have your math, your social studies, your science, and your English, along with different electives. It's an academically rigorous program. So the content has interactive lessons and it has offline learning opportunities. So one of the biggest things is making sure that even though it's a virtual school, you're not spending hours and hours and hours all day just working online. So for example, lessons might have like an extension activity. So you'll do project-based learning offline. For the younger kiddos, they're going to be workbooks. So with the workbooks, students can work offline and like physically write down their answers and send that in. It's a very personalized type of curriculum. So it meets the needs of students at different academic levels as well. And one of the biggest things is that it is accredited. So it's accredited by WASC, which is the Western Association of Schools and Colleges. That's one of the largest accrediting organizations in California. And along with that, it's accredited by Cognia, which is a nationally accredited organization. So the fact that it's accredited by these two big name organizations just shows that it has a high standard of quality when it comes to content and curriculum. Accelerate Education has some really great features. So it's a very user-friendly interface and it allows you to progress monitor. So it's easy to use for students, teachers, and parents. And for example, like all three stakeholders can go in and have on the dashboard all the information that they need to best support the child. So for example, a parent can go online and see, okay, this is how many assignments my child has completed in all of their different classes. This is how much they've completed. This is what scores they've received. And it breaks down all the data. On the other end, the teacher can also go in and see the same data, and it really helps them make informed decisions. For example, if they see that a student isn't working, we can get right on it and intervene early on. And the teachers can also see which standards the student is struggling with. That way they have an easier time differentiating when they're doing live lessons. So that's going to be really helpful in meeting the needs of all students. Along with that, Accelerate is easily customizable. So teachers can ensure that the content is aligned to the mission. So that we very much value the mission for Rise Online, which is a holistic education and an Islamic education. So a teacher can very easily go in, look at what they're teaching, and then add in extension activities, add in trivia, whatever small activities they want to add, or extra readings or video clips that they can then relate to what a student is learning in their Islamic studies course or to Islamic values. So Accelerate Education, the curriculum, coupled with the teacher-led live lessons, which the teacher-led live lessons, they will not be lessons where teachers are just lecturing for an hour. That's not the model. Those live lessons are meant to, create that sort of classroom community. So there'll be very interactive and engaging lessons where the student can make a connection with their teacher and with their peers. So for example, there'll be breakout rooms. So students can work in small collaborative groups on projects together and assignments together. There will be student differentiation. We all know that every child learns differently. So based on the data that Accelerate will give us, the work the teacher does with students during live lessons, it gives teachers an opportunity to differentiate and meet the needs of various students, and also have the opportunity to provide personalized support. So a student can reach out to their teacher in live real time and much more. So the Accelerate Education plus the live lessons will inshallah create a very effective model of learning. So next slide, please. In these next few slides, I just kind of want to go over what it looks like and what your student will be and yourself will be seeing when you log into Accelerate. So I know when I'm teaching, one of the biggest questions my kids ask me are always, why am I learning this? What is the point? How is this going to help me? And what am I going to do with this information? And I think that's a very valid and valuable question, because if you're working on something, you should know why you're working on it and what the point of it is. So one of my favorite things about Accelerate is that each lesson starts off with the objective, and it lists for the student what they should be learning by the end of the session and what skills are needed. So as they are going through the lesson, they're actively taking a look and actively understanding, hey, these are the skills that I'm working on. It's not on this particular screenshot, but if you scroll down on each lesson, the Common Core standards are listed. So Accelerate is Common Core aligned and the NGSS standards aligned. So it'll list those standards so students, parents, and teachers can all see how we're reaching those standards. And then on the right side, students will see keywords that will be seen throughout the lesson. So they're going in with some prior knowledge, or they can look up that information, or it can be talked about during a live lesson. So when they go into the lesson, they're not going in blind. Along with that, there's extension activities. So at the end of a lesson or throughout a lesson, students will see these project activities, different things that they can do to relate the content to real life situations, and makes it much more engaging and interactive. And since we know it's not necessarily healthy for students to just be reading and reading on the computer screen all day, Accelerate embeds videos throughout their lessons, which is going to help with our visual learners and our auditory learners, and just to make the assignments much more engaging and relevant for students. Next slide. Other engaging and interactive activities we'll see on Accelerate will be things like spelling bee, matching, especially for the younger ones, matching the words to the pictures, graphing exercises. And they also have plenty of tools for support. So for example, if we have a student that, while they're reading, they like to listen as well, they can have the program read to them as they follow along. They can highlight things on the page. They can take notes. They can even bookmark pages if they want to come back to that specific page later because they know they need spend a little bit more time on it. So there's lots of tools, great tools for students to use while they're on Accelerate. Next slide. So next, I kind of want to show a short clip, about a 2-minute clip that Accelerate will present on kind of what the dashboard will look like and what the website will look like. If you can play the video.
Do you want to see this level of excitement for learning? Accelerate Education offers appealing and rigorous learning modules with flexibility of use in any environment.
We are fully accredited, fully Common Core aligned and NGSS aligned, device friendly, and have the ability to modify existing content or add your own content. Our content is compliant with INACOL and Quality Matters standards. Our catalog offers the 4 core subjects of language arts, math, science, and social studies, and offers multiple electives. Our middle school catalog offers the 4 core subjects of language arts, math, science, and social studies, and with a single sign-on dashboard, students will access courses and content to see a navigation bar. This navigation bar will allow students to move seamlessly through lessons and activities and easily see where they left
Looks like we're having a little bit of technical difficulties with the video. But inshallah, if we can once we get the slides back up, we can just go back to talking about the curriculum. And if we can, we'll look at the video a little bit later.
across the subject areas offer a multitude of activities for engaging students and assessing proficiency of standards. With a single sign-on dashboard,
Okay, so inshallah, we'll be able to get back to that video later. So success of Accelerate. So alhamdulillah, Accelerate Education has over a 90% success rate in students who complete all of the core courses. And within that, a 99.9% student passing rate. So inshallah, we're confident that our modified approach with the Rise Online instructors, that we can have high successful rates as well. Next slide. So Accelerate will, of course, be sort of the secular curriculum that we're using, but since we're a holistic school, we'll have our Quran classes, our Islamic studies classes, and our mentorship. So I just want to talk a little bit about what the impactful Islamic education will look like at Rise. So for Quran, it's going to be a very personalized, because we know the Quran journey is a very personal one. So personalized and individualized programs. So either one-on-one or small groups that begin with Qaida Nuraniya, and that students will be assigned based on their level. And eventually, inshallah, they'll be moving on to tafsir and mafahim. In terms of mentorship, so students and families will be supported throughout the educational process and by building relationships in the mentor program with different scholars and different role models. In terms of Islamic studies, the curriculum for that will be Qissa Kids. And because we're using Qissa Kids, students will have access to the entire resources and network that Qissa Kids will be able to provide. Along with that, the Islamic curriculum will be integrated into daily lessons. So as I mentioned before, it's easy for teachers to customize their own content and include seamlessly into the lessons connection to Islamic studies and Islamic curriculum. There'll be special fiqh classes, student-led celebrations, and commemorations for Islamic events, inshallah. Next slide. So in conclusion, so this what is the Rise Online difference? So what makes Rise Online different from another school, for example? So there are a few things. So Rise Online will be providing Islamic education that's streamed into all the content areas, along with educating the whole child. So yes, academic rigor and academics is extremely important, but our model focuses on making sure students are growing and learning academically, emotionally, and socially. So the whole child will be educated, and it'll be a very holistic approach. Along with that, there'll be active learning. I think one of the biggest fears that comes with a fully virtual school is that what if it's a socially isolating experience? Or what if it's extremely boring where students are just on the computer 8 hours a day, just scrolling and flipping through different slides? So that is not the model at all. It's going to be layers of active learning through whole class instruction, different breakout groups, individualized instruction. It's going to be an entire RISE community of students, inshallah. All that together creates the RISE online difference. So next, I'm happy to pass it over to Sister Tina. So a little bit about Sister Tina, who's going to talk about day in the life of a RISE online student. So Sister Tina has a Master in Education in Curriculum and Instruction, and she's a dedicated and passionate educational leader and qualified elementary education teacher with almost 10 years of field experience. She holds a Master of Arts in Curriculum and Instruction and a second Master's in School Leadership. Sister Tina has been teaching for the past 3 years at a hybrid charter school in Chicago, Illinois, and is a part of the RISE online administration team and will be a teacher as well, inshallah. So I'd like to welcome Sister Tina.
Thank you, Sister Zainab, for that wonderful introduction. I get to present the next layer of the puzzle, your burning questions about scheduling and talking about what it would look like in the life of a RISE online student. So as we explore a day in the life of a RISE online student, let's lay the foundation for student success. We have a RISE online partnership. Your child's education is a journey in which the child and their teacher used to be the road in a regular brick and mortar school, but because of our partnership, you get added into the puzzle. So teachers are part of the piece, but also the parents who act as a learning coach in this model. So here at RISE, we facilitate that partnership between parents or the learning coaches and the students or the scholars, along with teachers as facilitators. So let's look at the role of you as a learning coach. An effective learning coach is going to be a partner in your child's education. So you will provide coaching support at home while teachers or us at RISE Online provide the partnership on the virtual level and that support. So you will follow through with our partnership by looking over your child's daily needs. So whatever the course and the schedule is for the day, by helping facilitate that in your home. Making sure that you respond and look at emails every day will be the first layer of communication between parents, teachers, and the learning coach. Checking the website for updated information will always ensure that you're on track with what is going on at RISE Online. Keeping open dialogue with teachers, always asking for help if you need it. We are here to support you at any time. So we will have, as teachers, office hours where we'll be able to support not only the child, but also the parent. RISE Online will have school-wide programs and for not only students, but for learning coaches to attend as well. And through this partnership, we want you as a parent to be a motivator at home and encourage your child, because a child's educational journey is their first and most important. Let's look at the next layer of the partnership, the teacher. RISE Online teachers RISE Online is committed to hire qualified educators through a rigorous and thorough screening and recruitment process. RISE Online's teachers will be experienced educators that are professional and licensed. They will obtain a Google for Education certification and be technically savvy. Teachers will be equipped with tools and resources to be an effective online teacher, because we know that having that computer screen between us might be a little more challenging, but rest assured, we will have the perfect teachers for RISE Online. So let's look at the most important piece of the puzzle, the students. A RISE Online student will be the heart of RISE. Through our enriched virtual model, students will live the mission of RISE Online through a holistic educational approach. This will be accomplished by educating the child in the formation of faith, family, and a community. RISE students will have social emotional learning activities and opportunities daily with assemblies, interaction with their peers, mentorships and partnerships with scholars, school-wide programs or events, and weekly check-ins with their teachers. Students will be equipped with access to Accelerate 24/7, which is great because we know that a child's education might not be best between the hours of 8 and 4. So the curriculum is accessible to 24/7. Not that we're promoting you to have your child be working at 1 o'clock in the morning. We want to make sure that your child gets plenty of sleep and rest so that they are ready for every day's lessons. But if your child does need a little extra time or wants to work a little later in the day, you do have that option. And we'll look at scheduling in a little bit so that you'll be able to kind of see what that looks like at home. Rise Online uses an enriched virtual model. So this is a basic outline of what a day might look like. And just a reminder that while we're setting up these schedules for your students, we're keeping in mind that within the continental United States, there are different time zones. And so we're assuring you that your child will have the time they need to complete the academics that they are required to, but also having time to be doing hands-on and enriching activities with you as a learning coach. So the Students Learning Day starts off, sorry, go back. So the Students Learning Day starts off with, well, it doesn't necessarily start off, I guess, depending on your time zone, but students will have teacher-directed live classes. And so this will look like a virtual classroom similar to what's going on right now, except all sessions are hosted through Zoom. And we'll talk a little bit about Zoom shortly. But through these online classes, students will get enrichment, social emotional development, and be able to preview content that might be in upcoming lessons. Students will have the chance to learn as a whole group, in small groups, and as individual instruction with their teachers. Since, like I said, Accelerate is available 24/7, students have access to online curriculum at any time. So they have the flexibility to work at their own pace at their specific level. Featured in the online curriculum, you'll see that it will be enhanced with Islamic knowledge. That is one of the reasons why we actually chose Accelerate, was because we can manipulate inside the curriculum so that we can add things, Islamic perspectives or hadiths right into the actual e-textbooks. So that's a super neat feature. In addition to our online learning, our teacher-directed classes, we talk about that integration of Islamic education. We're calling it stream learning. So if you've heard of STEM or STEAM, we've enhanced it one more step and called it stream, which adds an R for religion, because Islamic education will be the heart of our foundation. So through our daily assemblies, our Quran and Islamic studies classes, and our stream learning, we'll have the perfect wrap up to our enriched virtual model programming. So like I stated, we'll be utilizing Zoom for our platform, but we specifically purchased a Zoom for Education license. So that's a little bit different than the Zoom for Business because it adds a layer of features specifically for classroom education. So we'll be able to, as educators, support your child socially and emotionally by having virtual class meetings where cameras will be on. We'll be able to interact and talk with your child. We'll be able to check in and see how they're feeling for the day, because that's really important in a child's learning, is fostering their hierarchy of needs, making sure that they are first feeling safe and cared for before that they are ready to learn for the day. Zoom for Education is equipped with learning tools. So they'll be able to annotate, which is meaning write directly on the screen. They'll be able to answer questions with a poll feature. So a question might pop up and they might be able to choose A, B, C, or D, and a teacher gets that immediate feedback on, is a child learning the content, or did they need to reiterate it? Or it might just be a check-in, like, how are you feeling today? So all children will actually be able to participate in their learning, so they're not just sitting behind a screen, which brings us to the next layer of classroom management. So in a classroom environment, teacher kind of has all of the control of what is going on, but with a virtual classroom, you have an additional layer of classroom management. So ensuring that a child is safe and learning at home, but that when needed, teachers can turn on and off their cameras, turn on and off the mics, and turn off features that might not be appropriate for that lesson. So all of those things can actually be adjusted per lesson, so per Zoom class, which is really neat. As I talked a little bit about the learning tools, those collaborative features can be integrated into every lesson. So real-time engagement with your child and the teachers in our classes will enhance what we are doing at Rise Online. We have things including being able to stream a video, being able to do breakout rooms, which encourages small group collaboration and discussion. That will also be a really great opportunity for teachers to maybe do guided reading groups or literature circles. And group chat. So being able to just check in the group chat is another nice collaborative feature. As stated, we chose Zoom for Education because it is secure and safe. So it adds additional layering features into the Zoom platform that makes it a little more secure. Interaction with teachers and peers and learning coaches, we want that to be a safe learning environment so that everybody feels really good about what we're learning. So let's see how this all comes together with your burning questions about scheduling right now. As we'll flip through the 3 slides, we have a sample elementary schedule, sample middle school schedule, and sample high school schedule. And you'll see the different color coding. So I just want to cover that up first now, and then we can continue on through the different slides. And like I said, this is a sample schedule, so this is not what 2nd grade will look like. So we did put example on there to just give you an idea of what online learning will look like for your child. We also have added in the first schedule will always be the Pacific time zone, and then we'll compare it to a different time zone so that all 4 time zones will be represented in these sample schedules. You will see the red highlighted area. That's our assemblies. That will be for every child in the school for approximately 30 minutes. It might not go 30 minutes every day, but we allotted that time for students to come together as a whole school for an assembly. That is our kind of like our starting point of our live sessions for the day. So we look at each of the time zones, and in green is going to be our live session zone. And that is the time slot. So between 8:30 a.m. and 1 p.m. Pacific time will be that time slot that you can have online classes with your teachers during that scheduled time. Then we have the gray section. The gray section is going to be your flex learning time. So in this presentation, we kind of assigned it to different areas so that it gave you an idea of how you can schedule that time at home as a learning coach with your child. Teachers at Rise Online will also be more than happy to help you schedule out those independent learning times so that if it's maybe not working for you during that time slot, we'll be able to help you manipulate your schedule so that your child is set for success. So you'll see that we will have different classes. So this is just a sample schedule for one specific day. So each of the days will look a little different. And your child will get a full schedule, but just for the purposes of this information session, we just kind of did one day for each child or for these different grade levels. So let's take a look as we move on to middle school. So in elementary school, you've just seen that we had reading composition, math, and Quran and Islamic studies, because for the little kids in the primary ages, from kindergarten and 2nd grade, we want to focus on the foundation of their education. Then starting in 3rd grade and up, we add in another layer, a mentorship program, which is going to be with an Islamic scholar or a professional to work with you and your family, just to kind of give that additional social emotional support, but also to facilitate a role model for your child and your family that you can ask and answer questions with, and you can work with once a week on a collaborative level. So we added that in here during that time zone. We also added in here a Quran class. So like we talked about, your journey or your child's journey with learning Quran is an independent journey with themselves and Allah. And what we wanted to do here is we wanted to make sure that we get that time in with your child. Through our small group instruction, we have the flexibility to kind of have our Quran classes outside that green zone or that optimal virtual learning time, because we can clump together students in different time zones. So that might happen within the school day, but in our kind of independent learning zone. So once you get to high school, it's going to be very similar to the middle school schedule, where you do have that assembly, you have your core classes, and you have your Quran class. So, as you can see, we did have in here like break times, slot times, lunch time. And like I said, that's free for you guys to schedule as parents and students throughout your day as needed, really, because being able for your child to have brain breaks and have that additional physical activity between classes, that will be unique to being at home on an online virtual platform. So we do want to let you guys know that these breaks or these schedules, we do have the allotted time for prayer, but also because sometimes classes get back to back or our schedules get a little hectic, we want to make sure that students have that time to pray. And so we will tell our teachers that they can take a break as needed. So don't be surprised if maybe you log into class and teacher might let you know, hey, we're going to start at 5 minutes a little bit later and go a little bit later so that we can have prayer. So we want to make sure that students and teachers feel comfortable to have that flexibility built into their learning day. So I hope it answered all your burning questions about scheduling, and I will turn it over to our principal for the student admission process. Thank you very much.
Okay, Assalamu alaikum again, everybody. MashaAllah, we're cruising right along. We got about 10 minutes before we open it up to everybody else in the questions. So let's go ahead and move to the next slide. Hopefully you guys are parents, you guys are keeping up with your classwork, right? Because I'm gonna check in on you guys. Make sure you're doing your classwork, because whether or not you get accepted into the school, it depends on whether or not you're doing the classwork. So that's a joke, by the way, alhamdulillah. So anyways, our student admission process, you can see it right there. Obviously it starts with the application and the deposit, and then it moves into student assessment. So student assessment is nothing to fear. It's something that we do to establish baseline for our students. It's for internal use. We don't put it part of their transcripts or, it's not going to affect their college admission, inshallah, someday. It's more for us. So if you're a teacher, right, and if you can get background information on your students before you start teaching them, mashallah, that's a huge bonus for students as well as the teacher. So that's the point of those assessments. And then after that, we schedule a family meeting. This is also a very neutral meeting. We're just trying to get to know the families, the backgrounds, the involvement, see how much you're willing to participate and give back to your children and obviously to our school as well. And the whole point is we're trying to set that tone to make it collaborative so that you guys know what we're expecting, and then you have any questions, we know what you're expecting as well. So that's a huge component of what we do. We have family meetings scheduled next week, and we're going to try to squeeze all those in July. So we're looking forward to that process. And then after the family meeting is the official acceptance, and we'll let you know, obviously, and then we send you forms and do tuition and set all that up for you guys. So let's go ahead and move to the next slide. Okay, so tuition and fees, that's there. As you can see, it's on our website as well. Just know that it's about $350 a month, right, for elementary, and then about $390 a month for high school and middle school. So high school, sorry. So if you need assistance with that, we have that on our website. You can click on the link for financial aid. We're going to figure this out, because the point is we got to work together as a Muslim community to meet the needs of our students and our families. So that's why we're going to create that parent group. Inshallah, we're going to have a PTA, right? A virtual PTA, and inshallah, it's going to be very powerful. That's part of our vision and part of our goals. So hopefully that'll come. And then if you have multiple students, obviously there's multiple student discounts. It is limited, but we're going to say, we'll figure that out. If we max out the amount of students that need financial aid, we'll cross that bridge, inshallah, when we get there. So let's go ahead and move forward. Okay, supporting the mission. So like we said, this is a joint venture, right? If the community supports this project, the sky is the limit. We can do so much across the world. So if you guys want to get involved, you can obviously let us know. You can obviously provide us with donations. We're going to use that to obviously benefit our students and to benefit basically our network and our systems so that we can make them more efficient. It really depends on the community as the strength of this program. So there are plenty of opportunities for you guys to join our team. Let's go ahead and move forward. So we've basically reached a point where we're a little bit ahead of schedule. So I just want to thank a couple of more people that haven't been mentioned yet. Sister Sarah Hussein is behind the scenes. She's the operations manager. MashaAllah, she's so talented. She used to live in San Jose. Some of you guys may know her family. She's now in Houston, somewhere in Texas or something like that. So she's over there, MashaAllah, she's behind the scenes, has done so much to set all this up for us. managing the website, coordinating all of us, making this happen. MashaAllah, she's to be commended for what she's done. And obviously, Sister Sabika, Moulana Abidi mentioned her. She's part of Kissa Kids. She's part of, the mission statement. She oversees everything, mashallah. So she's got her hands in everything, and as we want her to have. And she's going to be a critical part of our backbone. So I'm not going to do this alone, even though I'm the principal, right? I have a full-time job, so she's going to support all of that, right? So we're going to make this work, inshallah. So thank you to Sister Sabika and Sister Tina and Sister Zainab. Sister Hiba, we haven't mentioned her as well, but she's been volunteering her time. She's behind the scenes as well. There are so many people that are behind the scenes. Brother Taimaz, they're so critical to this project because they're part of Sister Hiba is part of the curriculum team. And it's a lot of work trying to figure out these demos and figure out that Accelerate was the right program for us. Took a lot of work. So let me just thank everybody involved in that. So aside from that, let me pass it back to actually Moulana Abidi for maybe some closing comments. And then we're going to open it up for Q&A.
Okay, thank you, Brother Noman, and also, mashallah, team, great team. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless us, inshallah. Before we begin the Q&A, one clarification, so all of us are on the same page, inshallah. The RISE Online is extension of RISE education system, RISE Academy. Therefore, we have accreditation from WASC. So RISE Online is accredited by WASC. However, in one of the slides, when it comes to the curriculum, we showed that the curriculum is accredited by the Cognia and WASC because we are taking the curriculum from Accelerate. So Accelerate curriculum is accredited by the Cognia and WASC accreditation. But Salāmun Online is not accredited by the Cognia. So I want to make sure that this piece of information everyone understand, inshallah. So, and also I know that lots of questions about the Islamic studies and Quran. We have that, but for most part we answer those questions. But in nutshell, we have some of the classes, the online, and some of the classes will be asynchronous and also pre-recorded. So inshallah is going to be combination of that when it comes to the complete scheduling, and once we send the complete package, you're going to see the details of that, inshallah. So with that, I would like to ask Sister Zainab to take the lead for the Q&A, inshallah.
Okay, inshallah. So we're looking at the questions right now. So what we'll do is I'll read the question out, and then one of the panelists will go ahead and answer that question for everyone. So one of the first question is, how is PE class performed?
I can go ahead and take that question, Sister Zainab. So the PE class in Accelerate Education is more of a flexible learning style where, we encourage, or the curriculum encourages 30 minutes of activities 5 days a week. And so there is a PE log. There's also little mini activities that guides the parents through what to do for physical education. So at this time, that is what we're looking at for PE.
All right, the next question is, how many classes per day for like an elementary age student, like a fourth grader?
Yeah, so what we did was when we looked at the student schedules, there was 3 live classes scheduled. So there was a literature class, a math class, and a Quran and Islamic studies class. And so that approximately, that time slot that we allotted for live education, that will be how many live classes the child has per day. So we will not exceed the time that we talked about, that 2 to 3 hours, because we know that's a lot of time in front of a computer. But the schedules will kind of be flexible. So based on the enrollment and the teachers for the school year, your child will get a schedule for the day. I know you can plan to have about 2 to 3 live classes per day.
And just to add on to that, I think I saw another question later on. That doesn't mean, like, for example, if you have like science and math as your live class that day, that doesn't mean like for English, you as the parent are teaching it at home. It just means like the next day it'll be math and English and history. So it'll be alternated, and all classes will cover enough time to meet statewide mandates. Okay, so the next question is, how many hours of FaceTime instruction will a student have with a teacher per week?
So per week. So just to let you parents know, we're looking at a schedule of scheduling live classes from Mondays to Thursdays. And then Fridays will be kind of our flexible day. So you can then plan to have 2 to 3 hours a day, 4 days a week. So about 8 hours of live classes per week.
So the next one, so will any of the high school teachers be AP certified? So right now, based on that, we at a later date will have the answer as to if we will be offering AP classes or not. So we should be able to answer that at a later information session, inshallah. So next question, will any of the existing Rise Academy teachers teach with the online version? Moulana Abdi or Brother Noman, would you be able to answer that question?
Thank you, sister. As we mentioned, we have two different entities. One is Rise Academy, one is Rise Online. So Rise Academy, the admin and teachers and principal or with Brother Noor, and Rise Online will be with Brother Noman. However, there's going to be a collaboration between these two, and we're going to share some of resources and so on and so forth. But our Rise Academy teachers, we're going to teach Rise Academy students, and Rise Online teacher will teach Rise Online students. Maybe some of the teachers we're going to have those who are for high school or middle school, maybe the volunteer base they can do, but as of now, our plan is, especially homeroom teachers, they're not going to teach in Rise Online, those who are teaching in Rise Academy.
Thank you, Moulana. For the next one, is there a list of teachers for each grade/subject and their credentials, Brother Noman?
So not yet. That's something that we're working on, and inshallah, by the end of this week, or this upcoming week, we can get that together, and hopefully that's our goal, is to get everybody kind of figured out what they're teaching and where they're teaching. And as soon as we can get that ready, we're going to send that out to you guys. So stay tuned. That's coming, inshallah.
Inshallah. How much screen time is anticipated per day in order to complete the necessary daily lesson?
So the daily lessons, what I want parents to realize is that students will have an agenda for the week, and that will be dependent on how the curriculum is paced out. And so what we want to ensure is that while they might have to spend 1 to 2 hours for online learning for their online curriculum per day, but it doesn't mean necessarily in front of the computer. So they might be doing a novel study, students might be working on a hands-on activity. So you can plan about 1 to 2 hours per day for that additional time in the curriculum that's outside of the online virtual classes.
Yes, and just to add on to that, the whole approach is more balanced. So even though it says, a certain amount of time is for like independent learning that never has to be fully online, we want, especially the younger the students are, to have more time using consumables, using workbooks, working on projects, and being able to send that information and send those projects in. So there's not too much screen time happening. So that is all, it's very flexible, inshallah. Brother Noman, Moulana Abdi, do you want to add anything to that one?
Yeah, as you mentioned, sister, one of the key component is the parents' involvement. And we know that homeschooling is a blessing if parents are more committed and dedicated. So for them, you need to be more involved in the screen time and so on and so forth. What happens is usually if we leave our children by themselves, because there is not much of traditional activities like what we used to do in back home. Right now, everything is the online, and also because of the pandemic situation. And if you want to have online school, also parents, they need to have a good command and they need to engage with them. Otherwise, if parents they assume that my child will going to get everything from online, obviously the screen time will be increasing and it's not healthy. That's why we have a live sessions, and after the live sessions, we are anticipating that the parents will inshallah engage more. For example, for one of the thing is PE, exercise, or nature base, or going out, and so on and so forth. All of that would be with the effort of parents, inshallah.
Inshallah. So the next question, so I can take this one. So will there be an alternative backup curriculum for specific days or classes if technical issues arise on either end, teacher or student, so nothing or very little is missed by the students? I think that's a great question. Of course, being part of an online school, the expectation is that you will have access to Wi-Fi and a good internet connection, but we all understand that with technology comes situations that arise that are out of control, like out of our control. And we never want a student to get penalized for that or a teacher to get penalized for that. So this is where that independent learning comes in, where teachers will have those backup plans embedded within their lessons. So for example, if like an English teacher or a student can't make their English class because there's a power outage, they can work on their novel study that day. They can get ahead in reading those chapters. Or in math, they can get ahead in working on different assignments because there will be calendars so students can see what the upcoming lessons are for the month, for example. So there shouldn't be a situation where a student doesn't know what to work on in case there's a technical difficulty. They can work on something offline, inshallah. Would anyone like to add to that? Okay, so next question. I don't see history, science, physical education, or electives on the sample elementary school. Oh, I think we already answered this one. And even if it's not on the schedule, that's just the sample. Each subject matter will be taught by a teacher. So is there a plan for Rise Academy students to pursue a hybrid solution where they can also choose to take some online classes here? I think that's more of a question for Moulana Abidi or Brother Noman.
Yeah, so for the Rise Academy students, if they want to take extra courses, they have to talk to the principal and head of the school, Brother Noor, and he will guide them, inshallah. Just want to make sure that when they enroll for Rise Academy, will be different, project, and Rise Online is a different project, inshallah.
Inshallah. Okay, this question is directed to Brother Noman specifically. So will the principal be working as a principal solely for Rise Online, or is he working part-time at public school or somewhere else?
So good question. I'm going to be doing both, inshallah, because right now our public schools are all virtual as well. So the beauty of Rise Online is it's nationwide, so there's different time zones. So right now my schedule is set up where I can hopefully, inshallah, be able to handle both schools and juggle both schools. And I mentioned that Sister Sabika is also going to be playing a huge administrative role. So when my schedule doesn't allow it, she's going to be stepping in along with Brother Newell, inshallah, and then obviously Moulana Abidi as well. So the whole point is we have a collaborative approach to making this school work, inshallah, and that's what you're going to experience. And your needs will, inshallah, be met. That's not going to happen if I'm busy. It's still going to get addressed, inshallah, in a timely manner.
Great, thank you so much. So how are science labs going to be performed? Sister Tina, would you like to take that one?
Yes, so for the older grades, there are virtual labs. And so there will be integrated right into the content. There will be virtual labs, and then there are hands-on activities. So the beauty of Accelerate is that they do have, especially for the younger grades, hands-on science labs and activities with materials that are found right in the home. So you don't need to be running out special to a science store and getting those materials. A lot of the things that they do integrate with materials that you have already at home. So there is that hands-on approach and a virtual approach to the science lab and curriculum.
All right. So the next one is an admissions question. So when does a child need to turn 5 to be enrolled in kindergarten?
So I could take that one on. They have to be before September 1st. They have to be turned 5, and then they can enroll in kindergarten.
Okay, so next question is, what opportunities do you offer for teenagers, so like the middle school, high school age group, who want to socialize and get to know more Shia friends? That's a great question. Part of the attraction, as the question mentions, is in public school is to socialize and have fun at school as well. So that's going to be in various ways. So for example, like the assembly time, we've allocated about 30 minutes for it. That doesn't necessarily mean someone is going to be leading assembly for 30 minutes. It'll be much more interactive. It's going to be a great time for students of different grades and different classes to get to know each other and maybe go into some breakout sessions. Along with the live lessons, there'll also be breakouts where students are getting to know each other and collaborating with one another and contacting with one another. During different celebrations, we'll have the entire school community do cahoots and different interactive activities. So various different ways for students to get to know each other. And, a lot of times maybe students can find that they're living in the same area as someone in their class and, create a network that way as well. So those are just some different ways that students can have that socialization aspect. Would anyone like to add to that one? Moulana or Brother Noman, Sister Tina?
Yeah, maybe some other points is when we have virtual projects will be assigned to different students and they can work together, whether it's Islamic projects or science, social studies, or math, or language arts, or any other event projects. Lots of virtual event happens, inshāʻAllāh. And when once students are working together, it's not only students, families also will work together. As Brother Noman said, is going to be a building of a community, a Muslim community. So the parents also going to know each other, and these types of things is going to be a great platform for the families, for the students to engage each other. Our expectation is we're going to have ample amount of resources, and also we're targeted and focus system where students they can engage with each other and also parents, so that way we can build a community.
Thank you, Moulana. I can just add one thing real quick. Brother Nu and I, we actually talked about this a little bit. And if you go back to our session number 1 presentation, Brother Nu in his introduction, I believe he went over some of the things that Rise Academy does with their field trips. So inshallah, if we can, we're planning on joining forces together with Rise Academy. So if they take a ziyarah trip, for example, we're gonna present that to our students as well, inshallah. So that's the bigger plan once this COVID stuff is inshallah out of the way. Is we're going to integrate the 2 schools together, and the students are going to get plenty of opportunities to travel together, to meet together, inshallah. So that's part of our bigger vision.
So thank you, Jazakallah. Last year we had a great, ziyarah trip for Rise Academy, and that's what Brother Noman is referring. Inshallah, the goal is in next ziyarah trip or any field trip comes, inshallah. Sometimes field trips are regional, but sometimes field trips is inshallah we can have in the collaboration of Rise Academy and Rise Online. That's also a good platform, inshallah.
All right, so inshallah, so someone on the Q&A forum just told me that I missed some questions. So that's really great. If I missed something or you felt like your question wasn't fully answered, just add it to the box, the chat box, and I will make sure that it is addressed. So last session, it was mentioned that if we have an Islamic school in our area, we should not attend Rise Online. What if we are not comfortable attending the local school out of fear of the pandemic or because it's a lot more expensive? Can we still attend Rise Online? Moulana, would you be able to answer this question?
So thank you, Sister Jazakallah. Brothers and sisters, I would like to make sure that all of us are on the same page. Rise Online is not competing with any existing Islamic schools. Rise Online will be, inshallah, help and support, and we're completing our responsibilities with the collaboration of full-time Islamic schools. So full-time Islamic schools, they should be supported. But if someone has a legitimate reason, for example, like because of the pandemic situation, or because of their distance and so on and so forth, that's a different thing. But we don't want to see that just because this is other option and I want to choose between this and that, and I want to take off my students or my children from Islamic school, I want to enroll in Rise Online. That is something I want to make sure that everyone has to understand. Inshallah, our end goal is we want to be working as a one entity, because our mission vision, our goal, and the goal of all the Islamic schools are the same. And once we are sharing the same goal, same vision, and same mission, we have to help each other. We're completing each other. Just imagine that at this time, only 14, 15 full-time Shia school and close to 70, 80, 100 altogether Sunni Shia schools in America exist, full-time school. But the number of Muslims are millions. And altogether students in Shia Sunni both schools has not reached to 100,000. So once you have a millions number in the students, those who deserve to have a holistic approach of education and access to the Islamic school, just we are serving the fraction of that. It means our duty and responsibility is far greater than just a regional or thinking or competing with another school. So that's why we want to make sure that all the Islamic schools teachers, principal are our partners in delivering the same cause and same mission.
Thank you, Moulana. Okay, the next question will be, a lot of the history curriculum doesn't teach the true accurate history, especially that related to the history of African Americans and Native Americans, in addition to a lot of world history being eliminated. Does Accelerate address that important accurate history? I can go ahead and take this one. So one of the best things that we found after going through many, many different online curriculums is that with Accelerate, is the easy customizability of Accelerate. So which fits our needs in a various ways. So I know I discuss a lot about how we can integrate Islamic education into the curriculum, but this is another fantastic way that a teacher can integrate information that they want to share with students. So let's say Accelerate, has maybe more of a standard account of history curriculum that we would see in like a textbook in most of our schools. A teacher can go in and create those conversations by adding, video content, by adding articles, supplemental stuff, maybe like a pro and con for something in history on how people support it, and create debates in the classroom, in the virtual classroom. So that need will be met. And this is where the parent community and student community also gets involved, where if, a parent or student doesn't feel like the curriculum is, being made relevant to what students are seeing in the world around them, then that can be placed into the curriculum very, very easily. And that would be forwarded to the different teachers on what students would like to see within their own education. So we're huge proponents of students taking an active role in their own education as well. If anyone would like to add to that.
Yeah, go ahead, Moulana. I don't know if you want to jump in, but I would like to share a couple of things with your permission.
Go ahead. Go ahead, brother.
Okay, so that's a very important question. And just to let you guys know, Sister Sabika, inshallah, is working on creating a committee of volunteers, essentially, and experts as well, that are going to do a deep dive into the social studies curriculum. And that's the beauty of our school, right? We can privatize this, we can customize it, like Sister Zainab was mentioning. And once we break down the Common Core standards and we look at the history, because we do have to teach that to remain accredited, we can also supplement it with what we know is accurate, inshallah. And with Moulana's guidance, he'll be the final decision maker in terms of what's accurate, inshallah. So go ahead, Moulana.
Thank you, Brother Jazakallah. Yes, the social studies and also language arts are some of the elective classes will be the most priority for us to make sure that is not only academically they are fit for our student, but it should be aligned with our mission and vision. And when it comes to the mission and vision, we have a very specific standard and rigorous system to go in deep and to find out what are the best for our children, inshā'Allah, and to see a complete picture, not factual picture. Even when it comes to the world history, lots of content is there. They're talking about some of the part of that are factual or is not complete, or sometimes is misleading, or sometimes is from different narratives, and we have to make sure that we are covering that alongside with high standard of academics. So that is our goal, inshallah. We are taking care of that, and Accelerate is one of the good platform where we can, inshallah, take care of that. Again, that is our side, but still we are expecting from parents and all the educators to be partner with us in this great mission. I'm sure that nonetheless, whatever we do, we're going to see some of the glitches or some of the problems, and alongside with your help and your support and your being vigilant in all the areas, we can achieve a better goal. But from our side, yes, we do have a plan and want to make sure that we want to take care of those things, inshallah.
Okay, so the next one will be, so if a family finds out that after a few months that the program does not work for their child, can the child drop out mid-year, or are the tuitions paid monthly, or is it annually paid upfront?
So Sister Zainab, I can answer that one. Basically, it is monthly, it's month to month. You can choose to pay the whole year upfront if you want to, but it's month to month, so it's pretty flexible, inshallah.
So basically, I would like to add one more point also. When we calculate the tuition, although parents, they have an option of paying month to month, but this tuition is divided in 10 months. Although some of the month may not have the equal amount of classes, like at December, or some of the month maybe have more classes because of not having lots of spring break or winter break and so on and so forth. But in general, when we calculate our expenses and also the budget, we spread to the 10 months. But that is the chunk of that. So when we say 3,500 is not exactly month to month as divided, but as Brother Noman, he said, first year we understand that maybe some of the parents, they want to be more comfortable, and we want to go with month to month with this flexibility. You can see and you can be partner. Basically, we want to announce that we are there to partner in this great noble cause with your children to have a good, inshallah, result.
And if I could just add real quick, if your child is struggling with the program, we'll know before a few months in. So we have layers of support for you as families of Rise Online. So while they're, you might be considering unenrolling your child, and we do have a process for that, just know that you have that support of the educator and the administration 24/7. And so, right at the start, if you see your child struggling, feel free to reach out, and, teachers should be also reaching out on a weekly basis. But, this should be more, instead of thinking of it as a reactive, that it's not working, we want it to be proactive. We want to make sure that your child is succeeding. And if they're not, we're working together to maximize, to find the best spot for your child. So.
Excellent, thank you. Okay, so does Rise Online provide the computer or laptops, or do parents have to buy it? So the laptop, whatever that laptop may be, will be provided by the school, inshallah. And then does anyone want to add to that? I think that covers that answer, correct?
It does. Thank you, Sister Zainab.
Okay. So in regards to KG, how will the schedule look?
Sister, if you can add some of the things, what other things is included in the package? Because I see some of the parents also, they're texting, what are the package we are receiving beside the laptop or Chromebook?
Sure. Anyone like to add what we're adding to the packages?
Sure. So go ahead, Sister Tina. Go ahead.
So your child will get a package a couple weeks before school starts that will include the laptop. For students in kindergarten through 5th grade, you will have workbooks, and then we'll have additional materials in there from Rise Online for your family at home. So it will be like a welcome or care package at the beginning of the school year, but it will include a laptop because in our tuition and enrollment fees, it does say that we do include technology for the students.
Great, thank you. So in regards to kindergarten, how will this schedule look like? Sister Tina, would you like to take on that one as well?
Sure. The schedules will kind of look very similar to the 2nd grade schedule with that blocked time, but that blocked time isn't necessarily 1.5 hours of instruction. So with the younger students, teachers will have the opportunity to take that block time and individualize it or customize it for their classroom. So your kindergartner will have a similar schedule as that 2nd grade student, but they might be scheduled to come online for 30 minutes for a mini lesson and then have some offline hands-on activities to do with the teacher. So we did block out that schedule, but the teacher at the end of the day does have the flexibility to work with your child and your family to make sure that their schedule ensures that a child, especially in kindergarten, isn't online all the time.
Great, thank you. So will there be any counseling for students for emotional or other personal support?
Sister or Moulana Abidi, you can go ahead and answer that one.
Thank you, Jazakallah. So yes, we do have a plan for that also, inshallah. We are talking to the different scholars and also different therapists to bring them on board. And usually what happens is the teachers themselves will be fully trained for lots of the beginning part. But if anything, anyone are looking for extra support, inshallah, we do have, as we announced before also, it's kind of mentorship and one-on-one mentorship plan with our experts, inshallah. So that can give a better leverage. And also in the same line, one of the question is if Sister Sabika will be fully engaged in Rise Online, and also she's involved in Rise Academy, how it will work. I would like to give you great news, alhamdulillah. We have Hujjat al-Islam Moulana Salim Yusuf Ali, and she moved just last night, alhamdulillah, and he will be with us as assistant resident alim of Sabah, and also he's going to be the main person as a director of mission and Rise Academy. So once Brother Salim will be in Rise Academy, so Sister Sabika, she will not going to be act as a director of mission in Rise Academy. Brother Salim Yusuf Ali will be a director of mission, the director of mission in Rise Academy. So Sister Sabika will going to heavily involved in Rise Online. So we have a good balance, inshallah. And Brother Salim Yusuf Ali will going to take care of lots of this counseling in Rise Academy. And also Sister Sabika will be in Rise Online. However, because of the sharing of resources, one of the resources could be shared is, inshallah, this director of mission will going to engage in both areas, and inshallah we're going to have Brother Salim Yusuf Ali also partly involved in Rise Online for any mentorship, whether parents or some of the parent workshops and so on and so forth, inshallah.
Inshallah. So the next question that we have is, will there be opportunities for students to skip grades or accelerate beyond one grade level per year?
So yes, but it really depends on the assessment results. And then once they start working with our teachers, they'll be the experts along with the parents as well. So that's a very formal process, and there's a lot of documentation involved to make that happen. But inshallah, yes, there is a plan for that, and we'll get into that if that situation arises.
Great, thank you. So will there be any open platforms and monitored channels for students to build healthy relationships with each other, like a brother or sister's religious club, for example, or other specific subject clubs, like extracurriculars?
Moulana, you want to take that one, inshallah?
Yes, as we announced in the first open house, one of the key area we want to build is kind of virtual clubs. For that, inshallah, we are looking for different types of clubs. One of the club is the Quran club, Islamic studies, and also for different the activities and different any types of occasions comes. Inshallah, we want to talk and discuss, and I want to take care of that also. It's going to be a good, healthy environment from our side, and it's going to be monitored and guided, so our parents can be at peace. Obviously, inshallah, we are expecting that parents' involvement also will be there, inshallah.
Okay, great. Is there any physical meetings or trips for the students?
So this is also, I think, in our previous open house, our first open house, we mentioned that our goal is, inshallah, to create a good Muslim community. So we are talking with different, the Islamic centers, different masajids around the United States, especially those who enrolled our students in Rise Online. We're talking to their local imam bargas, Islamic centers, the masajid, and also the the basically Islamic centers. So inshallah, one of our goal is to have some sort of collaboration with them, and we're going to use the Al-Qisa resources also for that, to facilitate some of the physical field trips, and also if they want to engage and also want to have a good the bond in the school, and so on and so forth. All of that is depend on the number of the students and also location, and especially pandemic situation. In this pandemic situation, even lots of full-time schools or centers are locked down right now. But inshallah, once it's open, our goal is to have that also. And right now we're working behind the scene to create a good networking system where your children, our children, can go to centers and also different locations, or the park, or picnics, and so forth, to create a good atmosphere, inshallah.
Great, thank you, Moulana. So the next question, I can go ahead and take this one, is are there any tutoring sessions? So teachers will have open office hours, so students can drop by during those office hours. They don't necessarily need to stay the whole time, and can get any of their personal questions answered, can get extra help. A teacher can invite a student to come to office hours so that they can help them on specific items that the teacher feels like they need a little bit more support on. A teacher can also set up office hour times by appointment, so that a student can it can be ensured that a student has that dedicated specific time for themselves. So in various ways, so even though there might not be like a specific tutoring session, those office hours are going to be used for that specific role. Would anyone like to add on to that, or? Okay, so then we'll go to the next one. I'm not sure if we answered this one. Can a child enroll in the program later in the year, or does it have to be at the beginning? Can they come in throughout the months, or does it have to be at the semester, or the end of the year, or at the beginning of the year, Mark?
So we have no deadline. They can, for this first year, inshallah, they can come in, whenever they decide to join our school, inshallah.
Okay, and then Brother Naman, can you take on this next question too? Will classes be recorded for students to be able to review again later?
Yes, so inshallah, that's part of our evaluation process as well. So as an administrator, I'm going to be hopping in and out of classroom live sessions to kind of just see what's going on. And then, yes, they're going to be recorded as well. So we do have to have permission from parents to be able to do that. And if we ever get a situation where we can't do that, we'll address that situation as well. But right now, yes, that is the plan, to have them recorded so that we can continue to review them and learn from them and grow from them, inshallah.
Yeah, it's also great when like if a student is absent, they're sick or something, they can always go back and not feel like they missed out. Whereas in like a brick or mortar, like if they missed it, they missed it. It's hard to catch up. Sometimes they can actually view the entire lesson.
Yes, inshallah, that's the plan.
So this next question, if students from other countries will join, then how will the language barrier would be overcome? So this year, it's only in the United States that Rise Online will be offered. So students from other countries will unfortunately not be able to join Rise Online. Inshallah, that could happen in future years. Okay, next question. Do you have AP courses for history and science and languages such as Spanish? Also, how many hours of virtual time would teacher and elementary student will get every day, broken down in each subject? Can someone address the AP section? I think we covered the other ones earlier.
Sister Tina, you want to jump in?
Yeah, so our AP class will be based on enrollment at this time. And so our teachers for Rise Online, you know, that question was asked earlier if we will have AP qualified teachers. So it's really just based on enrollment at this time. And so as we kind of build our enrollment, we'll be able to reevaluate that and then make that decision at a later time. Also, just letting you guys know, in our admission process, we do have a family parent meeting that, you know, if you do have needs for AP classes or advanced learning or skipping grades, like that would be a great time to be able to talk about that. So while at this time we don't necessarily have a plan because it's based on enrollment, just know that throughout the process, we really try to keep an open discussion base and collaborate with what's best for your child.
Great, thank you, Sister Tina. So this was a follow-up question. Does the family whose child drops out have to pay the full annual tuition? No, since we're doing month to month, you'd only pay for the months that you were there. So the next one about the Islamic Studies program, are you using a standard purchase curriculum or one developed by the school? So it'll be the Kissa Kids curriculum that's developed by a team of Kissa Kids members, but I think Moulana Abdi can speak a little bit to that.
Yes, the Islamic studies curriculum with Qaida Nuraya, Quran, and also Quran Hifz Mafahim, and the Tafsir of Quran also part of the curriculum they're going to receive. And the Rise Online will be partnering with Kissa Kids and Kissa Foundation, and they're going to, inshallah, receive the same package. And inshallah, all the classes will be offered in the same manner, inshallah.
The next question, maybe Moulana, you can take this as well. So how will you address the differences in Islamic history taught to children that might come from Sunni schools?
Thank you, Jazakallah. This is one of the very important point to be in the same page. I would like to give you a little bit of a background, so inshallah can be in the same page. When it comes to the Islamic schools, all the concerns, whether we Shia or Sunni or even any faith-based people, they're facing the same challenges. So in terms of the content, and in terms of the language arts, social studies, and also lots of other components is there. So that's the shared, and all of us, we have in common, the interest. And also about Quran, it's the same thing. There is no dispute about that. And even Islamic histories, when we talk about Islamic histories, we have a history of the prophets, the same thing. There's no dispute about that. When it comes to the early Islamic history, is the same thing. There's no dispute about that. When it comes to the aqaids, which is, we're talking about the Tawheed, Nabuwat, Ma'ad, and also the Risalat, Adalat is same. There's no dispute. Only the dispute is, or the differences is when it comes to the history of our imams, and also the fiqhi aspect of it. So if we have any students who is not, doesn't want to learn, or doesn't want to learn about the fiqh or some of the historical point, we have a system where they can have other elective classes, inshallah. So as of now, I can say that 95% or 99% of that is the common ground, and that's what we share between Sunni and Shia, and we stand for the same Quran and same Prophet, and about the Ma'ad, and also what are the challenges we're facing is the same. What are the small differences is, we want to accommodate those who don't want to learn.
Thank you, Moulana, for that response. So will there be school and career counselors for students? If so, what grades will that be available?
So official counselors, we don't have that We don't have that just yet. We're trying to build to that point. We are going to need eventually a counselor to play that role. So Moulana, you want to address that?
Yeah, thank you, Jazakallah. Most of these schools, when they start, or even when they are not critical mass, they're using different tools to tackle that part. And especially when you have 11th graders and 12th graders, you want to have different types of the counselors, especially for the APs, and also to get into the universities and so on and so forth. We do have that plan in Rise Academy, and we're going to inshallah share the same resources from Rise Academy. That's the success model you can see, and we have inshallah. But for the Islamic, counseling, we do have a great plan, whether our scholars and also the team of the volunteers we have. But for the professional counselor, for the different needs, we are looking for that. But at this time, we don't have the complete answer for that.
Great, thank you. Moulana, will there be an Arabic curriculum, or is it going to be more focused on Islamic studies and Quran?
At this time, we are looking for Islamic studies and Quran. Quran is part of the the Arabic program, but not as Arabic as a second language. So those who enroll, inshallah, for the mafahim of Quran and also tafsir of Quran, they're going to learn lots of vocabularies and lots of understanding about Quran and understanding about hadith, du'as, and so on and so forth. But it's not a classic Arabic language, those who are looking for. And this will be, inshallah, in our plan for elective classes for language. So, inshallah, we are looking for different options for elective classes.
Great, thank you. So I think this can be a super quick question. Brother Noman, if a student misses the deadline, the September deadline to turn 5 by like a month, are they still eligible for enrollment? Will that be like taken into account, or is it a hard no?
No, you know what? We're a private school, so we have flexibility on this. So we can interview the family and go through the process. And if the child is ready, that's just my opinion at this point. We'd have to discuss it as a team. But inshallah, I think we have the same vision and same approach. So we can take that on, that family, whoever has that question. Thank you for asking that question, mashallah. And we appreciate that you want to get your kid enrolled early, so that's okay. And we can address that. Just we can schedule an appointment with this family and deal with it one-on-one, inshallah. Inshallah.
So do we have to return the laptops every term? So at the end of the year, will laptops be returned?
Good question. So from a public school perspective, we get them back every summer because we need to update them, upgrade them, that kind of thing. So we're not sure. That's not a hard answer just yet, but I'm going to say that I think right now we're planning on getting them back. It just depends on our IT department as well. So to be continued on that one.
Yes, inshallah. And yeah, usually they need to be updated. So it's always best to kind of return them so that the student can have the most up-to-date software in it. This one isn't a question, but I did want to bring it up just because I think it's a really great example of, parents being involved and giving us suggestions that are super helpful. But just a suggestion for the counseling from brothers, from Sheikh Salim and Sister Sabika. I think crossover is needed due to different gender question. And I just wanted to mention that because I think it's really fantastic to get that feedback from parents that we love to get. Yeah, of course, we would definitely take that into account and have, Sheikh Salim handle certain questions versus Sister Sabika.
In fact, we do have as same gender segregation classes in Rise Academy also, and want to do it for Rise Online also. Some of the classes geared towards only brothers, and some of the classes geared towards sisters. And we tackle some of the very important informative sessions, whether puberty or blue classes or some of the special ahkam for sisters, for brothers. We do have that separation, the gender segregation classes and also the sessions for sisters and brothers, inshallah.
Inshallah. And Moulana, could you take this next question as well? How will you help coach, counsel children to interact and live with brothers and sisters from other Islamic sects and other religions?
Thank you, Zakla. This is one of the very important aspect of Islamic schools, and there is a misconception among the people that if my child is enrolled in Islamic schools, he or she cannot go and fit in a society or different religion or different cultures or in a society. That's a myth which is proven to be wrong and from long time, and we're living in a society that's the least amount of worries. Like Brother Noman, he moved from different culture, different country, different school and everything. Right now, mashallah, he's leading and he is a principal. Like all the immigrant parents, they came from different backgrounds, and they were proven to be the best in their field, and they have very good skills to learn. So that's a general point. But specifically what we have is want to make sure that our children can mix and can survive, not only survive, accelerate, and can have a best the ability to speak themselves as ambassador of Islam and Quran. And we do have a lots of programs in our Rise Academy also to go to the different schools, or we invite the different schools students to our school, and we have lots of these interactive programs, and also we have some of the sports and so on and so forth, the games and other things. But for Rise Online, one of the things we are planning, inshallah, is to come up with a list of the things where we can have interactive programs, whether virtual field or so on and so forth, or with other cultures and other religions. So inshallah, we can be in same page. But that's something I want to tell you, brothers and sisters, is a myth or misconception which is completely proven to be wrong. And our children are more than capable, and we trust them to be better than, inshallah, what we are thinking.
Yeah, Moulana, one thing I'll add is part of the virtual PTA that we're going to create, we're going to integrate parents of different faiths or different cultures if they're part of our school. And we're going to let them, give them an opportunity to basically work with us and along with us and share their beliefs. And it's going to, that's one of the goals of that team and of that group that we're going to eventually create, inshallah. So more to come. That's a great question. And we're excited to take on that challenge, inshallah.
Inshallah. So we have about 10 more minutes. So we're going to try to cover as many of these questions as we can. I see the questions are still rolling in. So we'll try our best, inshallah. Sister Tina, if you can address the next one. Have you discussed the high school schedule? If no, then would you please? And in reference to parents' involvement, do they have to be with their child while he or she is actually taking classes?
Yes, great question. Thank you for asking that. We did talk a little bit about the high school schedule and the sample schedule area, but through Accelerate Online, there's a gradual release of responsibility that shifts from your child and you being more of a collaborative effort as a learning coach. And as your child gets older, you do have that gradual release of responsibility where you can check in with your child maybe in the morning, in the afternoon, and at the end of the school day to see how they're doing through classes. By no means will you be expected to sit with your high school student or even middle school student while they're having their online classes, unless you would absolutely love to, which we'd love to have you there. But you want to make sure that we're not leaving kids to their own devices altogether. So always being mindful of your child, but working that out with your student on a one-on-one approach is going to be best. But just to answer your question, no, we don't expect you to be there full-time with your child when they're doing their online classes. Just be a facilitator.
Great, thank you so much. Okay, so I think Brother Noman, this might be more addressed to you. Will there be any community involvement service requirements for students attending the school outside of the pandemic?
Yeah, so eventually, once we get past the pandemic, that's part of our vision, is to create students that are in the community and involved in service projects. And it's also part of the requirements for high school or public education, where they have to do community service hours. So we're going to incorporate that into our schools because it fits into Islamic education as well. So Moulana Abidi, do you want to jump in with any thoughts?
Oh, that's good, mashallah.
Okay.
Okay, Moulana, can you maybe jump in on this one? Will there be a dress code for live classes?
is not per se like schools, but we are anticipating to be prim and proper because it's going to be the interactive sessions. Others will going to be in the same class and people can see each other. So that's why our expectation is to have more prim and proper. The guideline will be given to the parents in terms of the place where they should have and also the attire and clothing and so on and so forth. And also some of the policies and procedures we're going to share with them right now. We're working about the policies and procedures. For uniform is a general guideline. It's not very strict like a color and this and that, but we're going to have a general guideline, inshallah.
Inshallah. So that's just something to look out for. We'll have more information about the procedures when it comes to dress codes and things like that. If there are not enough children for a grade level, what will happen? This parent's looking specifically for second grade, but that's a good general question. If there isn't enough children for a grade level, what are the steps for that?
So I can address that one. So currently for second grade specifically, we have 6 students. So inshallah, we can make a class happen. The smaller, the better actually. So alhamdulillah, we can make that happen. And if there isn't enough to fill a grade level, there's nothing wrong with combined classrooms. Right? The teachers should have the ability, and they're going to have the ability to tailor the instruction for multiple grade levels in one session. So that's a common area. Like we have combo classes in public schools when their numbers aren't appropriate. So we have a 2-3 combo class, right? It happens in public schools, and so it's the same approach for our school as well.
If I can add in with that combo class, it's a great point, because with the scheduling, what we were going to do is having block scheduling so that if there are combo classes, they'll be easily integrated into a child's learning day. So don't fret, parents, if you feel like there isn't enough, we will make it work for you. So inshallah.
Great, inshallah. Just as one is just another suggestion. I think we have some time to edit in, so I'm gonna add it in. To encourage engagement, some classes should be announced to students that it will not be recorded at all or shared with parents so that they can be completely transparent and not hide anything which may hurt them later on in life. So, I mean, thank you for this suggestion. It's always helpful for us. Things like this will be especially helpful when students have mentors. And that's one of the biggest reasons why we want them to have access to different scholars and to different mentors so that they can have open and transparent conversations about issues they need to discuss. And, the school will also be working with families, and families need to be brought in to those discussions. So that's just a suggestion, but if anyone would like to add anything, please do.
Yeah, just real quick, those videos that we record are going to be for internal use only, so parents won't be able to view those, of course. And then obviously there's a big relationship piece here. So our teachers, that's part of our focus with students, is the relationship piece, with building relationships where students are comfortable in those virtual settings to share, their personal, their personal situations if it's appropriate. So that's where all the mentorship and the relationship building that's going to come in. And we're going to train our teachers, and some of our teachers already have that background, mashallah. So it'll be okay, inshallah. And as you were mentioning, Sister Zainab, I think we're going to have a support network where we can address that more specifically, inshallah.
Inshallah. So the next question is, are local Sunday schools using the Al-Qisas Steps to Perfection curriculum as well? How will Rise Online Islamic Studies be different than what they're gaining from the Sunday school curriculum?
So thank you, Jazakallah. Right now, the question I can divide in two different parts. The first part is local Sunday schools. They're using the Al-Qisas Foundation Steps to Perfection curriculum, and we're going to use the same. So then our students, those who are coming to Rise Online, they should enroll in Sunday school or Salāmun Online, which is Sunday school online. The answer is you don't need to enroll in local Sunday school or Salāmun Online Sunday School for education purpose. However, I encourage that all the students, those who are taking online classes, which is Rise Online, they can get benefit of the social aspect and being in a society, local society, so they can go to Sunday school. So if they go to their local Sunday school, they're not going to learn much because we're going to cover all of that. However, the social aspect will be great for them. So I humbly request all those who wants to have a physical and social interaction with other peers and students, they can go there. So basically, our Steps to Perfection, which is Kisa Kids or Sabah's curriculum, will be the same curriculum which is taught by local Sunday schools and also Salam Online and also Rise Online. Therefore, if you are Rise Online student, you don't need to sign up for Salam Online for sure. But for local Sunday schools, please do so. You can get a social aspect of it.
Excellent. Thank you, Moulana. Okay, we have 4 minutes left and 2 questions, so I think we can get this done in time. Next question is a quick one. If the student already has a personal laptop, can they use it? Brother Naman, would you like to take that one?
Yeah, so right now, no problem. They can use it, and we'll address those issues with technology eventually if they come up. Because sometimes there's a compatibility issue. There might be some programming issues, but we'll get to that. But yes, they can use their own personal laptops.
Perfect. And then what is the minimum number of students per grade level that you will consider is enough so that they will not need to be turned into a combo class?
That's a great question. And so the ideal ratio max is 1 to 12. So 1 teacher to 12 students, that's the ideal ratio. So right now that's our criteria, because right now we're so small. We can try to hold that standard. And then if we get past that point, then we can address that, inshallah. And it depends on our budget as well. So ideally, we want to maintain 1 to 12 max.
Great, inshallah. So it looks like that is all the questions that we have. I want to thank everyone for coming to the information session and asking all these really great questions and giving us all on this panel the opportunity to address your concerns and your questions. And inshallah, we've answered all of the concerns that you have. And if you guys can have more questions, please, you can always send us an email and let us know. We can always address those at another time as well. Moulana or anyone else on the panel, if you'd like to add anything before Moulana ends this session.
So Moulana, just real quick. So parents, if at this point you still feel like you have questions that need to be answered, no problem. You can address, like Sister Zainab was saying, just schedule a one-on-one session with us. Any one of us that you want to reach out to, Sister Tina, myself, Sister Zainab. Alhamdulillah, we're all accessible and we want to hear from you guys. So just let us know if you need more time with us. No problem. We can do that individually, so we can kind of focus on your individual needs. But go ahead, Moulana.
So I would like to thank all of you for attending. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless us, inshallah. I hope that we answer some of your questions, and also you got a better picture about making a decision for your children's future, inshallah. And also I'd like to thank all the brothers and sisters, those who are part of this team, but they're not in this panel, and also all those who work behind the scene for hours and weeks and months. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless them all and give us strength and tawfiq to perform our duties and responsibilities, inshallah. The main objective and main goal is to create a good system where we can, inshallah, have a more understanding between us, and also we can start a academic year 2020-2021 with lots of excitement and the partnership with your du'as and with your support and with your help. And we are looking for your help in all the aspects. Please be our partner, whether financially or you have wujuhat, or if you want to give us your suggestions, or you're part of the family of Rise Online, or even if you're not part of Rise Online family, you're welcome, because this is not a something a commercial ad or commercial business we're looking for. This is for sake of, inshallah, our children, and want to build a strong educational system for our children and future generations. With that, I would like to ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and Ahlul Bayt to bless us, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give strength and tawfiq to perform our duties and responsibilities, inshallah. Jazakumullah khair. Wassalamu alaykum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.